Hey everybody, welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about my rock bottom. And for those of you who are new, I'm Bree DeLong. I am an inactive attorney who works with other professionals on personal development. And today we're going to be talking about what led me to my own path on personal development. And that was reaching my rock bottom. And the reason to tell this story is that there's several reasons to tell the story. The first is that when I was going through some of the things that I went through, I felt very alone. I felt like I was the only attorney in the world who had ever gone through anything like this. Because clearly everybody else is smarter and has their shit together. And it felt very, just so shameful. And then when I started teaching flat fees to other attorneys and seeing behind the velvet curtain in their lives, I very quickly realized, holy crap, I wasn't alone. Oh my gosh, there are so many attorneys. I would say the vast majority of attorneys have a really unhealthy relationship with money or their bodies or life or themselves. And so if you hear this story and any part of it resonates with you, know that you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with you. Maybe there are some things that you need to tweak or would be helpful to tweak, but there's nothing fundamentally wrong with you. And that there's hope. Because boy, without hope, we got nothing. And if I can do what I've done, you can certainly do you can do it as well. So the second reason is maybe you listen to this video and nothing resonates at all. You're like, oh, I don't see myself in her story at all. Great. Great. You probably have other issues, but at least maybe then you have a little deeper appreciation for your own life and that, holy cow, there's people out there that have issues that I don't have. Thank God. Okay. So, and the third reason is that my hope in doing this work is not only to help so many professionals, to those who want it, to get on their own path to personal development, to understand themselves better, to appreciate themselves better, to have a better relationship with themselves. But hopefully it's so that you don't have to hit your own rock bottom like I did. So that you have some tools before you get there that I didn't have. So my rock bottom was a little over 8 years ago. And I'll give you the backstory to tell you how I got there. So I had been living in Seattle. I had just finished, and I mean just finished, renovating my beautiful 100-year-old home. I'd taken it down to the studs. By the time I got done, it was gorgeous. Just beautiful. I loved that house. Had a view of the city, had a view of the water. I had a great practice. I had a beautiful office that was half a mile away from my house, which in Seattle is a big deal. Doing estate planning. And at the time, if you would have asked me, oh, are you happy? I would have said, yeah. Oh, yeah. But if you would have scratched just a little bit under the surface and asked me just a few more questions, I would have said, well, I'd like to make more money and I'd like to lose weight. If somebody would have kept scratching, in reality, internally, I was a mess. Internally, I was a mess. On paper, things looked great. And in reality, things were not half as bad as I thought they were, or I felt that they were. In reality, I was actually making decent money. I was blowing it all. I mean, a renovation isn't cheap. those old homes are money pits. So considering some things, I was actually doing pretty well, but that's not how it felt. I was comparing myself to all of these other people or what they were presenting, and I always felt behind. No matter how much money I made. And what was worse is when I would make good money and then, look at the end of the year and have very little left over, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's even worse. And there was so much shame attached. I felt like there was something fundamentally wrong with me. Like, how could you be so smart enough to be an attorney, I knew I was smart, and have credit card debt? Not have anything in savings? Like, what is wrong with you? And then I would turn around and beat the living crap out of myself, telling myself I just needed to be more self-disciplined. That was the problem. Same with food. Same with my relationship with my body. I was doing a lot of circus arts, trapeze. I was actually really strong, really flexible. I was in amazing shape. But I was overweight because I had an addiction to sugar. I didn't think I ate that badly, but clearly I did. And it just felt horrible. When I felt compelled to eat that all the time. When I was going to food to make myself feel better about my life, or wine to make myself feel better about my life, I knew that wasn't right. I knew, oh, this is bad. I didn't feel like I could stop. And then let's do the shame cycle again. You just need to be more self-disciplined. Get it together. Get your shit together. It wasn't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that. Every new book, every new coach, every new program that I had started with hope. That was going to be my savior. This was going to be the program that changed it. This was going to be the book that I got some new information that I went, oh, that's the problem. My problem wasn't a lack of information. I mean, I took Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace course twice. You talk about shame in there. Boy, he throws on the shame, which isn't helpful. I even did hypnosis to try and lose weight. I'm not kidding, like multiple times. None of it worked. My issue wasn't a lack of information. My issue was my relationship with myself. My issue was a lot. One of my issues was that I kept wanting a quick fix. I kept wanting, the 10 easy steps or a savior. And looking back, hindsight being what it is, and after doing a lot of deep introspection, I really think that part of me was looking for a savior back then because I didn't think I could do it myself. I had tried how many umpteen dozen times. I knew there wasn't anything, wrong with my body. I had been a size 2. Why couldn't I do it now? So I kept looking for the next thing that will help, will get me over. Around that time, I had been starting to really feel the effects of lack of sunshine in the Pacific Northwest in the winters. And I kept wanting, I grew up in Arizona, and was like, I need sunshine back. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm really unhappy. There were also some things going on in Seattle that I wasn't real happy about. My father's health was getting bad, where I thought he was going to have to live with me, and being in Seattle, that wasn't going to go well. In my little house in the middle of the city. And so I had kind of like, let's move to somewhere with some sun. Maybe not Arizona again, and I had a friend in Texas. So it was like Texas, Florida. But that was really about 25% of the real reason that I moved from Seattle to Texas. The real reason, the reason that got me over the hump, was I was looking for an easy answer. I had a neighbor who sold their house. And their house was literally half the size of mine. It didn't have a view of the city. It didn't have a view of the water. And I found out how much they had gotten for their house. And I was like, holy crap. Oh my God. And that was it. That was it. I ran the numbers. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. This is the answer. I sell my house. I can move to Texas. I can buy a house, or Florida, buy a house outright, pay off my debt, even have some money left over to establish a new practice. They need lawyers there. This is perfect. And all of my financial troubles go away like that. How can you have financial trouble when you own a house outright and you don't have debt? It's not a behavior issue with me, right? Even losing weight. Oh, I was in great shape when I was in Arizona. I didn't have a weight problem in Arizona. It's the sun. I need to be out in the sun. That'll take care of it. All of the answers were external. What I thought were the issues weren't the issues. They were just the symptoms of what was internally going on with me. And that's what I did. I hadn't even been to Texas. I had no desire to ever go to Texas. I came out one time once I had actually really decided just to check it out, and I wasn't that impressed. And yet the next day I bought a non-working farmhouse in the middle of nowhere in Central Texas. And I went so fast and so furious, my instinct didn't have a shot. I was bound and determined I was going to push this through, just like Breed Away. I'm just going to push it through. Push it, push it, push it. Try harder, try harder, try harder. I came out in September, mid to late September. By the first week in December, I was in Texas. I had sold my home. I had closed my practice, and I had moved. Not only me, but my oldest son, Jonathan, came with me. And life was going to be great. Happily ever after. All or most of my problems are solved. The first day that I got the keys, I went into my little my farmhouse. It wasn't really a farm, but it was a lot of acreage. For me, 2.5 acres is a lot of acreage. And the condition of the house really didn't matter because I know how to renovate. Look at what I just did to my house in Seattle. And I knew that there was a foundation issue and a septic issue. Fine. And I had figured that it was going to be about $60,000 to get it up to where I needed it to be to live in. A couple of things happened right away. Number one, my dad got sick again. Another emergency flight to Billings, Montana. Another ICU visit. Okay, now the time frame, we've just cranked it up because my dad needs to live with me now. Okay, so I don't have 2 years to renovate. I don't have 5 years to renovate. I need to get this house done right now. The second thing that I hadn't accounted for, hadn't thought about, was that there had been a hurricane in Houston. That meant that any contractor who was worth anything was in Houston. So who was left was really, quite frankly, bottom of the barrel. And I was a general contractor. That really had issues. But what really did me in, was the first time I really looked at the house when I drove in to Texas with the dog in the car. I got the keys, went out to the house, looked at it, and went, What was supposed to be brand new drywall, I looked and it was wavy. I knew what that meant. That's water damage. So I didn't even have any tools with me. I go to Home Depot, I get a hammer, and I come and yank out some drywall. And that's when I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Behind the water damaged drywall, I saw extension cords as the electrical. That's bad. For those of you who don't know construction, that's bad. Really bad. Like, I don't know how this house didn't burn down. Bad. So I kept removing drywall. Plumbing was the same way. Not hooked up. No connectors. Just water shooting. Sewer shooting. Shooting into the electric is shooting into the, extension cords. This place had been in the country. No inspections, no codes. And I was like, oh. So we're not talking about some cosmetic upgrades anymore. And the more I took down, so my $60,000 reno budget just quadrupled. And I was still very much in go, push it through. It doesn't matter. We're just going to get it done. It doesn't matter. We're just going to get it done. Every second of every day was just pushing it through. Somehow I managed, I don't even know how I did it. Somehow I managed to get that house completely and fully renovated. Down to new studs, all new electric throughout the entire house, an addition, all new plumbing, all new insulation, foundation, roof, all new siding, all new drywall. Every single thing in that house was new. Brand new. It would have been cheaper just to bulldoze it and start anew. I got that thing completely done in 5.5 months. That is how hard I pushed. And it was beautiful. I do beautiful homes. And that's when I finally had the house done that's when I had some time to have the reality of the situation that I was in hit me. And that was my rock bottom. Because all of the reasons that I had uprooted not only my life, but Jonathan's life, I had not only not gotten, I had not achieved, but I was a lot further off than I had been in Seattle. I was further behind. Not only was I not debt free, I'd had to take out a mortgage. My retirement was gone. I'd had to empty out my retirement to pay for this house. And I was in more debt. I was in more credit card debt than I had been in Seattle. I was financially a lot worse off. And I didn't have a law practice. I was just starting to get that going. And it wasn't in a high-end area where I could charge what I charged in Seattle. Not even a little bit. And the health, I'll lose weight. I had gained like 25 pounds in a matter of like 7 or 8 months. Where I couldn't even fit into clothing. I have never in my life been so heavy as right then. And that was my rock bottom. That is when I sat on the floor of this house that I'd worked so hard for and went, what did I do? What did I do? Oh my gosh. This is so bad. This is so bad. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. I don't have income. I've never weighed so much in my life. I don't even have retirement anymore. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that is when I was quiet enough and still enough to begin to hear my true self, my instinct. And I knew that I had 3 choices. One, I could keep doing it breed away. I could keep pushing through and try harder, just try harder, just try harder. Well, that had gotten me in a real freaking pickle. That had gotten me in the complete opposite direction of where I wanted to go. All right, so maybe we don't do that anymore. The second option was that I just give up, whatever that meant. Probably not suicide. I wouldn't do that. I've got kids. But just give up. You know what? Forget your dreams. Forget what you want in life. Just go get a job as an attorney. You know, make your 100, make your 120 a year. Take your 2 weeks of vacation every year. Pay off your debt. Shut up. Be grateful you have a job and just be done. And that was tempting for a couple seconds. Because I knew that's not what I was supposed to do in life. It's no judgment. Maybe that's what other attorneys are supposed to do. Most are. That wasn't what my path was supposed to be. And there was something that told me that. The third option was to let go. Not let go of what I wanted, not let go of my dreams, but let go of the attachment to it. Let go of having to do it Brita way. The pushing, the pushing, the pushing, the fighting, the go, 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 go. Again, what I thought had been my superpower, the I get more done by 10 a.m. than most people get done all day, was actually my kryptonite. The lack of patience, the just go, go, go. And I could start hearing my internal voice. It also was clear to me that I had to set my ego aside. My ego had played a big part in this. Having to do things my way, wanting to impress other people, spending money I didn't have to impress who knows who, to try and make myself feel good about myself. I knew that had to go. I didn't know what this meant. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. But that was my rock bottom and the crossroads of, okay, something, I don't know what it is, but something fundamentally has to change with me. Not quick fixes, not the next book, not the next program, me. I have to fundamentally change. And I sat with that for a while. And I had a peace. And it was the first time that I could remember that I didn't feel alone. It just felt like something was surrounding me, giving me a hug, like I wasn't alone. And it was the first time I didn't try and figure it out. And that's when everything changed. That is when everything in my life fundamentally changed. Okay, there's the cliffhanger. You're going to have to wait till the next video for me to tell you what happened, if you haven't read one of my books. But, so again, if you see any part of yourself in the story, know you're not alone. I've been there. Lots of other attorneys have been there. And there's hope. But you having to push and figure it out, it's not going to get you anywhere. And the problem is we think it has. We think that's our superpower. I can tell you it's not. It's not. So I hope you stay tuned for the next video, and I'll tell you what happened next, who came into my life, what fundamentally changed and got me on the path, on my own personal development path, that blew everything out of the water in a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful way, where I can now have the relationship with myself that I couldn't have even dreamed about. If someone would have told me what my life would be like today, what my relationship with myself would be like today, what my relationship with money or food or work, or I would have been like, whatever. I couldn't have even contemplated it. So I'll tell you how I got on that path in the next video. All right. I hope you got something out of this, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay. Take care, friend.